recorded live right here in Little Rock, Arkansas. It's time again for Larry's Rants, Raves, and Reviews. And now here's Larry.
Well, folks, I hope that you slept last night because I got to tell you, I hardly did because I was looking forward to this show one more time.
Really.
And we're sitting here recording it. I got to tell you, it's great to have Chase McDowell. We have, dear Lord, we have talked about a bazillion different things on this.
So.
And so we've opened up a whole lot of can of worms, but here's what I can tell you. We're going to dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
Chase, I think what you were headed towards at the end of our conversation on episode 1 was really what I consider your strengths. And I think that this is people need to know this about you. So I'm going to ask you to dive in a little deeper. You said that one of your biggest strengths is your foreign affairs.
Yeah.
So jump in there and take off.
You know, with the state of the country and where we're at right now, due to high interest rates and what we experienced over the last 4 years, I don't focus as much on foreign policy because I know that I've got starving children here in America.
Okay.
But what I do know is that the stage is being set for, I don't like to throw that word around, but World War III. I mean, the stage is being set. And what you have is the law of averages. We've never had this many superpowers ever. And what ends up happening is when you see Europe, they posture and they say that America is not important anymore. Well, of course we are. All their airplanes are ours. You know, NATO is funded by the American government. I mean, we are the protection. But when you look at this, you look at a place like Russia and you look at a place like China, and you have to know their history. You have to know more than just the past 100 years. You've got to know in the past. And what we see with that is, they've always been called the sleeping giant. That would be China. I think they're a paper tiger. I do.
Okay.
I'm not afraid of them. But what I'm more afraid of is that they come in, they steal our national security. All of our national security secrets. We've had 3 in Arkansas that were professors and students that were stealing our agricultural secrets. What they're trying to do is replace America through everything. We're going to go in, we're going to tear them down at their knees through commerce. They know they can't meet us in military might, so they buy into these private equity firms that shut down Sears and Roebuck and Payless Shoes, and they buy up car companies and they shut them down, and they put us in a bad predicament. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to break China at the knees. That's why I said that oil is so important. They've been buying it. Russia and China have been stealing that oil from Venezuela, pumping it through OPEC. Because, look, the thing about it is you can put as much restrictions on companies as you want to. We know that doesn't work. You've got North Korea riding around in a brand new Mercedes Pullman limousine that's $2 million car. Well, how did he get it? If we've got these sanctions and he can't get anything in, can't get anything out, right? Mm-hmm. Well, no one believes that sanctions work. They used to a long time ago. You'd barricade with ships and people couldn't get in and you'd starve them to death. I mean, Constantinople, that whole thing. So, yes, it used to work, but it doesn't work anymore. Because no one has any faithfulness to America, and they don't have the faithfulness to America because we don't follow through. And one thing that I wish would happen with presidents, regardless, and it used to post-World War II, but it's not anymore, if we would stick to the same foreign policy stance between administrations, that would help us. But what will happen is you'll get someone in like Jimmy Carter, weak. There would have been no Iran situation. We would have had no problem, no issue if we would have stuck with the Shah of Iran, right? We would have done that. We wouldn't have allowed the radicals to take over. Now, we're very fortunate. We might possibly see the Shah of Iran's son become the monarchy again. I don't think that republics will ever work in the Middle East because you have a group of people that rule through theocracy. They believe that their religion is their government as well. It's never worked out. That's why America has been so successful, because we believe in God, but we believe you choose the path of how you believe in God. And that's why it's worked so well for us. But what happens in America is, Eisenhower was a big warner of this. We've got a military-industrial complex. The first thing they want to do is force every president into war and blow some stuff up and kill some folks. Well, I'm a Christian, and I don't believe in that. I believe that you can do a lot. There is a lot that can be done through peace, through strength, just by might. Sheer might of your military can intimidate people. Showing what happened with Maduro, that in 2 hours we were able to take that joker and he was already, on his way back to America. And I think that put dictators on notice. But also not allowing BRICS to invade the Western Hemisphere, or our hemisphere, right? I believe in the Monroe Doctrine. I believe that we need to sit down with Brazil and say, look, if you're aligning yourself with these Axis powers, you're gonna run into a lot of we're not gonna deal with that, right? So we have an issue with them shortchanging us with agriculture. Very, very upset with the Argentinians. We helped them out a lot, and then they sold those soybeans to China. So there's a lot of sitting down with our side of the globe and saying, look, they've messed this stuff up for thousands of years. If you want to go down that road, be warned that the American government will do nothing for you, and your currency is my currency. Everything you own is backed by the U.S. dollar. A lot of people are upset because the dollar is so low right now. It actually makes it easier for us to do commerce and trade with other nations. I'm not worried that the dollar is weak. It actually opens us up to where we can, and African nations, and we need the African nations to come to us out of instead of China, because China is getting those rare earth minerals from Africa by signing erroneous contracts with them to build infrastructure, and then they steal everything that they have. People fail to realize that 6 African children a day die digging that lithium out for those electric cars in Africa, and they just throw them over and put dirt over the top of them and keep moving on.
Wow.
The Western civilization is the only place that looks at life as it's a gift. It's a blessing from God. You have a lot of countries out there that do not. And I don't want to align myself with those people. I'm trying to put the final nail in the coffin. I'm trying to be Ronald Reagan 2.0 on that, to put an end to communism. Because all those communist nations survive on the American dollar. China is big and great if you want to go there, because it's our money that's over there. We built those industries. All of that production line, we built that in China. 40, 50 years ago, you're talking about Richard Nixon trying to open the market with China, which we should have never done. But what happened is we tried to open free trade for the whole world, but it only works around the globe when you have quality of life is equivalent, when beliefs are equivalent. When they're not, and they use slave labor like Christians and Uyghur Muslims over in China, then my products will never compete with that, because I can't compete with free labor. Mm-hmm. So you have to put tariffs and certain things of that nature on certain products, ban certain products, and not allow that into your marketplace, because the American people are not what they used to be. And I'm saying my generation. When the older generation was 30 years old in the 1980s, the idea of them buying a non-American-made product, with the exception of some of the tech stuff, it was not going to happen. You're going to buy a General Electric, or you're going to buy Kenmore, or you're going to buy, one of those products.
Yes.
But now we have no adherence to our marketplace, because we've lost the patriotism of being an American. Everybody tries to label me as a Christian nationalist. Well, that's the furthest thing from the truth. First of all, I'm a patriot, and that's patriotism for one's nation, and I'm perfectly proud to say that. And I'm a Christian first. So if you're trying to throw Christian at my feet, yes, I am, and thank God I am, because I don't know what I would be as a person if I wasn't. But we have tried to gear that towards what is normal being the fault of America, when that's the redemption. That's the saving grace of it, which is, hey, you can have everything in the world, be completely, the richest man on the planet, and be completely depressed because you don't have a family. Sure. Or you don't have the simple things that we take for granted as normal people, I like to say, as the middle class, what we enjoy as the middle class. And I'm trying to grow that to where we so outnumber everybody else. And the only way we're going to do that is by bringing production back. Because if we go towards this model to where I'm paying for your health care, or go to a cryptocurrency, AI, we let AI take over everything, then what do I have? I have the haves and the have-nots, and we return back to the European model, where you have a group of extremely wealthy people and you have a group of extremely impoverished individuals.
Well, for years, we have been losing to China in a lot of ways. American-made used to be really high quality. Yep. Then it went to garbage. Then we sent it all over to China because we decided we don't want to make it. Okay. And so now we're starting to bring back some of this, and we've seen, we've been told that, Apple is going to put in so many billions of dollars worth of factories and in a couple of different locations and all. And that's all because of Donald Trump. Now, our government had absolutely nothing to do with that.
Right.
That is all single-handedly done by Donald Trump. By Donald Trump.
The only fear that I have with, yes, it has happened. Now, if we don't have a Congress that holds them to it, it's going to happen exactly like it did last time. The moment he left office, none of them held up their end of the bargain. And they do that because they know that they've got to do it, and they've got to start showing progress while he's president, because he will expose them, right? But who in the Congress is going to expose him once it's done and say, hey, you signed on to this deal, and you're supposed to do that? You've got 21 elected people in the House of Representatives that'll hold those people accountable. But then you have someone like Mike Johnson that I used to respect so much, so highly.
Yeah.
I did. I thought he was the greatest man.
Yeah, we were sold a bill of goods on him.
And
Great
now,
Christian guy, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, and now I'm like, okay, you're
What's
from
he
the
done for
Arklatex,
us?
which is where I'm from, and we have never been that weak.
No.
So I don't understand what happened to Mike. And he will never get my vote for Speaker. I think Tim Burchett out of Tennessee is a great individual. I think he puts
I love him.
I think he puts the love of the
He's
country
awesome.
first.
Yes.
I think you get another version. I just tell everybody I don't wear Carhartt because I'm not a cowboy, never have been. I'm going to run around in a suit. But, the thing about it is the sentiment is the same.
Yeah.
What I have to look at is, a tax plan that benefits our corporations, but benefits American investment. So it's not just cut taxes on the corporations. It's also retention rate of employees. We know that these big companies, they fire everybody after 5 years. So as long as you retain your employees, you're making investments in America, you're growing, you're seeing that development, then you're going to get a tax break. But the days of me writing these billion-dollar checks to companies, it's not working. If it worked, I would have a difference of opinion. But, Tesla has stood independently all by itself, built all of those charging stations. We spent hundreds of billions of dollars on our own government money to build these charging stations. We got 200 of them, and they don't even work.
Yeah.
Ford Motor Company and GM are going belly up because they tried to invest in an electric car company. Ford says, I'm done with it. GM says they're done too, because it was just regulations that we put on an industry that it does not meet what the market wants. So all the people that want electric cars, they're going to buy Tesla, or they're going to buy Rivian, or they're going to buy something like that. If you want a Ford Mustang or you want a Dodge Challenger, you do not want an electric car. You want to hear that V8 rumble. Right. And they have to understand that that's the American people. We're not Europeans. We like V8s. It's hard for me. My Expedition has a V6, and that's okay. That's all they put in it. But if it had a V8 option, I would buy the V8 because that's America to me. It's freedom. It's liberty, that type of thing. So you have to know your consumer, and we're changing the fabric of who we are as a people. That's why I push so hard for the new nuclear reactors that we have that run off nuclear waste. Why would I go towards windmills? And why would I do solar when I have nuclear reactors that can use nuclear waste? We have 200 years worth of it here in Arkansas through our traditional nuclear reactors. We can put them in those AI factories. When we put it in the AI factory, that means that, because the thing is with AI, first of all, it's not going anywhere.
No.
Because it's also a national security issue, because it's going to be computer versus computer moving forward.
We can't run from it. We need to embrace it and
but
then
do it
bridle it.
Right.
Bridle it.
Right. And, I've refrained from saying regulations, no regulations ever, because I wish people were honest. If people were good-hearted and honest, and if you and I, if the three of us own an AI company, we'd say, well, you can't do that. You can't look at people's stuff.
Yeah.
But people are driven by greed, so you have to put some some borders up. And I hate to say that, because traditionally I don't support that. But I also know that a lot of these people are not Americans; they're dual citizens. They're people I'm running against because they're giving money to French left and right, which is wrong. I shouldn't have to run against dual citizen money, but I do. But to get back to it, with these AI companies, we know that the F-32 fighter uses AI, right? We know these things. So this is going to be one computer protecting another computer from hacking from China and whatnot. So what I want to do is we'll put these nuclear reactors in, because they're already in a concrete bunker, because it's no different than AT&T or anywhere else. This is national security purposes. We use that the nuclear waste. So now we don't have to worry about storage and all that kind of stuff with it. And all of the eco people are so upset about nuclear waste. It turns it into ash when it's finished. It produces the power that we need. The American people are not paying for the infrastructure, not paying for the light bill for these AI companies, not having to pump 7 million gallons of water per day per plant. We can submerge them in a table about triple the size of this table that you have in front of me here, which we submerge those AI servers in. And the thing about it is, French has no clue about anything I just told you there. But it's the most important thing that's coming for the American people. And if I don't put regulations on that and say, hey, you can't replace all of your workforce with a computer, which is not going to work out anyway. We'll try it, but it'll be destructive. But you cannot do these things because at the end of the day, I have to put the American people always first. That is it's not even at the end of the day. It's the first thing I think about, and it's the last thing I think about at the end of the day.
Right.
Everything that I just read today, where do the American people fall into that? And you're always going to have an industry where people make things with their hands. Now, in saying that, I think AI with 3D printing and all of the new technology that we have, we can, ancillary products can be made in this district. So Ford is an assembly plant. They don't, it's not like when Henry Ford first made it where everything was made right there at the plant.
Right.
You have products that can be made in America, from the steering wheels to the, the equipment for the electric seats and the heating seats, and all of this stuff has to be made, and it could be made in America, made in Arkansas, and then I ship it to Mississippi, and I ship it to Alabama, and I ship it to those places. At the Mercedes dealership and the Kia dealership, all those places. So now you've opened up a whole industry, because a lot of those components are it's not, I mean, they just go to the marketplace and they pick it out and they say, okay, yeah, we're going to get like Takata. You think of Takata, the airbags. That's a bad one to bring up because they had metal shavings in it, but everybody used it. That car company said, oh, well, they're going to be our airbag supplier. So why can't America do that again? And we make those ancillary products in states like Arkansas, and you can do that in New Mexico. And then what happens is when we do that, then food stamps go down, Medicaid goes down, because the private sector is now taking care of the American people, which is the way it should be.
Sure.
Your job now supports you, not the government. Now I do have more money for better roads, and I do have more money for better education in America. I do have more money for X amount of things. And also, maybe we just don't take as much from the American people at that point. Maybe I don't need as much taxes, and we can lower your tax rate. Georgia was very effective about that. Governor Kemp has given billions of dollars back to Georgians. And, that's a good thing. As a Republican, that's what you want. When's the last time that happened in Arkansas?
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
We have $1 billion surpluses, but no money ever goes back to the people. We have those surpluses, and y'all, the great lie is that we don't deficit spend in Arkansas. Let me explain something to you. When it's all over with, they're going to come to me in Congress, and they're going to say, hey, we need more money because we don't have enough. Because we spend, the federal government spends around roughly depending on the year, $3,000 to $4,000 per citizen in Arkansas. That's how much money we get from the federal government. And you know what I'm going to require from our state legislature? I need to know exactly where that money's going, and what about that $1 billion surplus? Why do you need more money from me? Don't embarrass me like this on the House floor.
Yeah.
Don't embarrass me.
Right.
Don't let it be to where California and Texas are down around $38 and I'm in $4,000 range. Don't embarrass me. And that's the real rub for me. You're not embarrassed with what you do as an elected official. I'd be embarrassed. I mean, like you caught me with my pants down to know that $4,000, $3,000 to $4,000 per year per citizen in Arkansas is how much money we have to get from the federal government. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And to then say Arkansas is doing great in education when we're in last place and all these other states are number one and we're 48th, 49th, 50th, that's bad. To say that the economy is growing, yeah, our GDP has grown in Arkansas, but unemployment has risen for almost the year that I've been running. Unemployment in Arkansas has risen every quarter. So yes, GDP is great, and I'm glad that increases. But what about quality of life for my citizens? Bad, not great. Children are hungry. Arkansans are hungry here. Well, we got to fix that. And how do we fix that? It's not by writing another government check. It's not by collaborating with churches. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not happy with the governor mixing tax dollars and church dollars. I don't know why we are so fascinated about that when the church should stand independently. And I'm speaking as a Christian now, not as a government employee. I'm going to tell you this. If your church goes to bed with the government's going to take everything you have and shut you down. We didn't learn that in 2020. I'm so frustrated about this.
Absolutely.
I was meeting with the call. There are no government, nothing to do with the government. They're 100% done through Christian churches and through independent donation, the call. And that they do with adoptions and foster care. I met with them last week. And such a blessing that they do that. Because when the government starts getting involved, and they did it because they needed to fill the need of the state failing to do their job. But it just bothers me that we're going to have some type of hybrid system between church and state, and I don't like that. Because, I know a lot of churches that take money from the government to do Meals on Wheels program. God told us to give that money willingly. And that is a sacrifice that we're supposed to do to take care of our fellow man. And I promise you, he's not happy about that. And yeah, churches don't like me saying that because it's a big deal for them. But this is the thing. God provides. The government does not. And give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, give unto God what is God's. And we are supposed to willingly give that to the church and to take care of the needy. So it's a weird
good
to me.
and perfect gift comes from the Father above.
Of course.
Okay. And there are no strings attached.
Absolutely.
But what I can say is anytime the government wants to give you something, there are plenty of strings attached.
It's going to be the avenue that the Democrats will use to shut churches down.
Yes.
Because they're going to say, I don't like what you're speaking in the pulpit.
Right.
Can't say that.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
You've got to grant marriages that I say so.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to accept people. You can't kick people off the church roll.
Right.
I don't care if they're a sinner or not. You can't kick them off the church roll. And
Yeah.
people say, oh, he's just so much hyperbole in that statement. Really? 2020.
2020.
Even though we were meeting out in parking lots.
Yeah, that's right.
Even in this state, they were trying to round people up because you were meeting in a parking lot and you weren't supposed to be more than 50 people or 25 people or whatever it may be.
That was a practice run, my friend,
Oh, it
to
was.
gain
It was.
control over the country. And I said then that the Pelosi plague, the scamdemic, as I call it, it was a practice run to run us as far. Hussein wanted to see how far he could run us into socialism. And when we started laying down our rights and our liberties the way that we stupidly did, that's when the Communist Party of America, the Democrats, shifted gears and said, guys, we don't have to stop at socialism. We can head right on in full speed to communism.
Yeah, and then you get Mamdani.
Absolutely.
You get the governor of Virginia.
Yes.
Can't have a leaf blower now.
Yes.
Well, you can have an electric leaf blower.
We couldn't grow plants, tomato plants in our backyard during the scamdemic. Where was that?
Michigan.
Michigan?
Yeah.
It's in Michigan. Gretchen
Yeah.
Whitmore
Couldn't do it.
taped up the seeds. They wouldn't allow them to grow.
And let
their
me
own
tell you
seeds.
something. Yeah, I don't know if this one will get on there, out of the air either. Let me tell you something. The day that they said we've got the jab, I called my friends and family and said, do not take it. It is a population control drug. Don't take that jab,
So,
whatever you do.
You know, I've worked in this industry for a long
I never
time,
did.
and I was like, well, we usually have to wait a decade.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just kind of weird to me that we're just pushing it so quickly.
Sure.
I always told people, hey, if you want to, you go right ahead. But I also enforcing anyone.
I always told
into-
people, feel free to do it, but you're an idiot.
Well,
You're
I was trying
nicer
to-
than I am.
I was trying to be a little nicer.
Yeah, go
but
ahead. You're running for office. I said I'm not.
What I will say is I just told people, you know, when it is just a COVID vaccine, maybe y'all think that's okay. But even telling somebody to wear a mask or whatever it may be, you know, the thing about it is you can't force people in a public space to do anything. But we just chalked that all up and said, well, no, if you don't do exactly what I say, then you're killing all of your fellow Americans. And
Let
it's
me
like,
tell
well,
you something. We became such puppets during all of that.
I didn't wear a mask during that time. I just told them, I said, I'm an asthmatic and I'm not wearing a mask. I've
Yeah.
already had COVID. I lived. I'm fine, but I'm not wearing a mask. I can't. I don't like them. I don't want to wear them. And I didn't. And it wasn't to be. I mean, I wasn't trying to just be defiant, but I also said, you just can't tell me that. And you know, people. The problem that I had during that time is that was the first time in my lifetime that I looked and I said, oh, okay, so Revelations really is that easy. Because we really didn't struggle. I mean, when you're looking at actual conditions and things that happened, I mean, you know, throughout history, it was minor compared to the Spanish flu or a multitude of different other things. And when you're talking about death rate, so we really didn't have anything other than people wanted the COVID cash. They wanted their checks, and they wanted to stay home and never go back to work again. And it took us a long time to get people to go back to work because those COVID cash checks just kept coming in the mailbox for people.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I was very frustrated with the White House because I'm like, if you shut this government down for 2 weeks, remember it was just 2 weeks, we just shut everything down to slow the spread. That's never going to work. Of course, Fauci gets a pardon before Trump takes office.
Yeah.
You know, you get Burks and all of them. They all got their little pardons.
Sure.
But they didn't pardon everybody. So I definitely want a full investigation of gain of function because we had made it illegal. In this country, gain of function was illegal, but we used a loophole through China to study gain of function. And gain of function is playing God.
And I'm going to tell you, as long as Pam Bondi is in the position that she's in, we're not going to get anybody to pay the price.
I hope she's there long enough just for me to pull her into the house, because I have a lot of things. I would love to tell her, I would love to know what's in your burn book about me.
Randy and I have talked about this on the air several episodes, but we have talked about the fact that everybody thinks that Donald Trump has a 4-year term, but he doesn't. He has a 2-year term, because we will. And I say we, let me back up. The Republican Party, because I'm not one, I'm just way out independent. Okay. So the Republican Party intends to lose the midterms, and he will be a lame duck and not do a thing. Isn't it funny? Let me put this out there. Isn't it funny how President Trump, you say that foreign policy is your strength. Mm-hmm. Isn't it funny how the world loves Donald Trump, and yet this faction of America hates his guts, including our Congress and our senators?
Well, because just for instance, we now know that the Ukrainian energy minister had $100 million that he stole. That was our tax dollars.
Yeah.
They don't hate Donald Trump. They're terrified of him because they know that the president is very good at using people to their like that. Why do you think he endorses Lindsey Graham? Because he knows he's a worm and he'll do whatever he says, right? Lindsey Graham will do whatever power tells him to do. He has no independent bone in his body. So the president knows he has a puppet. So what he does is he knows all of the bad things that they've done, and he uses it against them. And the president's been doing that since he was a businessman in New York City. That's why he had Ro Cohen as his lawyer. He did his bidding for him in New York. Okay. I'm not necessarily saying that it's worked out in the favor of the American people. I don't usually play ball that way. I don't care how he plays ball as long as things are done correctly. But the thing is politicians put themselves in those positions. Just like during the COVID cash, they all took it. They all got it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if you're allocating money, you shouldn't be able to be a part of it. You should be exempt from it. Marjorie Taylor Greene was one of them. She took the COVID cash, and there was a lot of Republicans that took it more than the Democrats. And, in 2020, I was trying to help get the 2 senators reelected during the deal, but they had sold their stock. They knew it was coming. They knew the government was shutting down, so they made millions of dollars off of it. And, I told them, they were like, oh, it's the election, and it's stolen, and it's this, that, and the other. It's like, well, no, they did wrong, and the people of Georgia said, no, I'm not putting you back up there, because yet again, they were smart enough to know, don't elect a man that makes so much money off of you in the stock market, but Arkansas just hadn't clicked into that yet. $9 million in 1 year and $1 million subsequent year since, and now you're at $19 million in stocks for French Hill, and he serves on your House Financial Services Committee. Come on, folks. You got to help me a little bit here.
Yeah.
I think this is my 50th podcast I've been on. I have over 96 hours worth of podcast. And as you can tell, I'm as transparent as can be.
Yeah.
And, if I was running in any other state, I'd have $3 or $4 million in my account. I've never begged the people of Arkansas for money. Mm-hmm. The only thing I've asked them for is their vote.
Yeah.
And right now we're 22 points. The last poll I ran, we're 22 points down because no one wants to go out to vote. But this is the thing I want people to really realize. I would have always had the right to vote because I'm a white male that owns property. But every other group at the very foundation, so even white men that didn't own property couldn't vote in the very beginning of our country. So every other demographic had to fight for the right to vote. People have died in boats coming from Cuba to come to America to have that right to vote. Mm-hmm. People in other countries have died in their soil for the right to vote. People in Iran right now are trying to overturn the Ayatollah. Mm-hmm. And you just won't go out to vote because you don't think you matter. You do matter. Mm-hmm. But to just hand it all back over to these people all over again. And you're right. The president will be a lame duck. But not only that, if you think that those Democrats are not going to impeach him and those Republicans that are angry at the president are not going to vote yes, Bill Cassidy being one of them, of course they will.
Yeah.
Of course they will.
I got to tell you, it's because we, the people, no longer believe that we have a voice. Yeah. We, the people, no longer believe that we're being represented. Mm-hmm. That's why we get upset. That's why we set our lazy butts on the couch and don't go out and vote and do these things. But folks, I'm going to tell you something. from the bottom of my heart, I'm begging you to get out in this Republican primary and vote. I'll tell you, Randy, here's what I've decided I'm going to do. I'm going to go and of course I'm going to vote in the Republican primary. Mm-hmm. But everybody that's an incumbent, I'm voting for some guy like him.
Good.
Even if he doesn't win, I'm at least sending a signal that says, hey, my voice is out here, and we may not get you this time.
Absolutely.
You career nasty, filthy politician, but we'll get you next time. Mm-hmm. And this is what I'm saying. We've got young guys like you. What'd you say? What age are you?
32.
32. We've got a 32-year-old that I got to tell you, he's a brainiac. I mean, seriously. I mean, he sat here and he said some things, and I'm like, God, I wish I was smarter so I knew exactly what he was saying, okay? We're just a couple of old farts that have a podcast here that give you the platform and get in here and show your wisdom.
I'll tell you why. Because when I traveled around this country of ours, they think because of my southern accent that equates to stupidity. Yeah. When I try to correct them and explain to them that some of the best presidents on the face of this planet come from the South, and some of the best practitioners in medicine come from the South, because we've had to do a lot with nothing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, I just want people to look. There's 21 other districts that those people have a voice with their representative, and I think Senator Kennedy does a great job for the state of Louisiana.
Yeah,
I think
there's
some.
Yeah.
I think
that's a big heat, Randy's. That's
well, I love
hero.
Senator Kennedy.
Yeah.
Senator Kennedy is great.
Tim Burchard's probably mine.
Well, he's fantastic, and I'm hoping that I win this, and Tim and I can have lunch together every day. I'd love to have that. I'll even get one of his skateboards.
Could we get invited?
Sure,
please.
Absolutely, I'll invite him over to the office. But you know, Fetterman, even in Pennsylvania, as much. Yeah. I mean, I wish he would stick to the dress code, but he's done great as a independent from his party. And I'm going to tell you, I am very. I'm more of a Reagan-style Republican than I am a Trump-style Republican.
I'm a Reaganite.
Yeah. And I'll tell you why, because I believe in you fixing the country, not me. I'm not riding in on a white steed saving the day. Yeah. The American people do that on their own, but what I've got to do is get out of the way and stop putting so many heavy regulations on everybody. And the American people know what's best for themselves. Yeah. I can't tell you what's best for your household. You know that. The only thing that I want is for people to be proud again and to love this country, love their families. And if you get that key, the rest of it's just all extra. It all just fixes itself, because then you care about your community. You care about your front yard. That then extends to your sidewalk. That then extends down to Main Street, into your church, into everywhere else. And you know what? I don't think it's a problem of wanting people to wake up and be happy about what they do for their life, you know? Yeah. People used to work for 30 years, 40 years at the same company, get a gold pen and a gold watch. I'd love to see that again. I'd love to see people that live and build communities again, because we just don't have that anymore. And that loyalty, that local loyalty, leads to an America that if Republicans did what we said, I wouldn't have to go across the street to go raise money for the Republican Party. If I did what I said I was going to, people would more than gladly give me money and do that. And I wouldn't have to fight and spend so much money in elections.
Right.
But we won't. We get up there and we do like we're so great at winning power, but then just completely wasting it away.
You're right.
And I feel like Republicans prefer to be on their back foot than on their front foot. And I looked at it. We have 4 years to change the whole fabric of the globe. Why not do it? Now we got 2 years, because we're not going to win the House of Representatives. There's no way around it unless something drastically changes. But, you know, with the way that we're at now in camps, the days of you ever seeing a 30-seat swing or a 40-seat swing, those days are gone.
Now, folks, he's saying that they're not going to win it. I'm going to go one step further and say they don't want to win it. And stick around for my next podcast, some coming up, because I got to tell you, I think they're pretty good ideas.
Well, I can tell you this as someone that's worked in this for a long time. You make a lot more money when you're not in power than you do when you're in power.
Yeah.
So a lot of the political machines would prefer to not be winning.
They do not want to stop this stuff because all the millions of dollars that is being funneled back to them, they don't want to stop all of this.
Absolutely.
Hey, I've read a lot of things, and I'm going to land this plane here in just a second, but I've read a lot of things. You know, the candidates get these questionnaires that from different places and they have to fill in, answer a bazillion questions. Some of them are kind of stupid, but some of them are really good questions. But I've got to tell you, I have never seen anybody. I got about a 20 to 25 page report here. I've never seen any candidate that was more detailed than, I mean, you wrote an essay on every one of these practically.
Well, because I'm running to be the most powerful. So that the founders made this to be the most powerful chamber, because I'm the lifeline for the American people. So I want everybody to know exactly where I stand on
and
every
I like
issue.
it when you said that the House holds the checkbook.
It does.
I
I'm
like
the purse.
that. Yeah.
I want a tight string.
One of the things that you said here is that you promise that you will compromise on details, but stand firm on principles. Mm-hmm. Now, you go on to say, government has no money of its own. Every dollar Washington spends was first earned by an American family, a worker, a farmer, and a small business owner. I like what you're saying here. I really do. And then I go on further here, and you talk about term limits, and I'm going to tell you, I just absolutely love term limits. You and I probably differ in just a little bit, but you said that, yes, you believe in term limits and that you pledge. It says, I support them and have already made a pledge to my supporters that I will not hold off this office no longer than 10 years.
That's correct.
Now, here's what I will tell you, because you confessed you've never heard our podcast, and that's okay. But after this, I'm sure that you'll start to follow us and probably listen.
It's just been that I've been extremely busy.
And give us credit when you win this election.
Absolutely.
Like and subscribe.
That's
right.
Like and subscribe.
That's right.
Randy, when he wins this election, he's going to come out and say, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank Larry's Ranch Raves.
There you go.
They're the ones that put me over the top.
Right.
You said that you won't hold it. Here's what I will tell you, and you can read my T-shirt here. Larry's Ranch Raves and Reviews. This is my policy. This is a gift from us for being on our show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But as we have on here, term limits, America's only hope. I believe that every office, and I've said this from the president to the dog catcher, I want every office to have 4 years and 2 terms.
Yeah.
You get 2 terms for 4 years. That's 8 years. Get in, do your thing, and get out. I am so sick and tired of these career politicians, and you can name them. Lindsey Graham. You've got
Chuck Grassley will be 103, I think, when he.
Oh my God!
103.
I mean, isn't it ridiculous to think
Centenarians should not be serving in Congress?
that America, that we have put up with this like we have? So there's a gift. There's one of our
thank you.
our Rants, Raves, and Reviews T-shirts.
To the FEC, this is less than $50, so I accept. Before they have me on Arkansas Democrat Gazette, that I accepted a gift. It's not over $50. We're good.
Folks, I've got to tell you, we've had a wonderful 2 episodes with Chase, and I'm sure that you've enjoyed it.
It has been great.
Thank you. Citizens of Arkansas, let me speak to you in a closing comment real quick. You've got to get out.
Right.
If we've uncovered anything in probably our last 6 episodes, and I believe it's true in all other states as well, but in the state of Arkansas, the primary is where the election is fought and where it's won and lost. Right. You can either go out and vote for a rhino, a career politician, someone that doesn't listen to we the people, someone that doesn't care, someone that has all the dark money behind him or her that they could possibly have, or you can go out there and cast your vote for guys like Chase. Yeah. Now, let me tell you something. You go out there and you take a look. If you recognize the name that's on that ballot, vote opposite. This is the Republican primary. You're not voting for some liberal, commie Democrat. You're voting a Republican to a Republican. Okay? Go out there, and if he's an incumbent, vote against him. It's time that we, the people, send a signal that says we're sick and tired of it. I've got to be honest with you. I hate the government. I hate everything about it. I love my country, but I loathe my government. They're nothing but crooks. They're nothing but liars. They're nothing but cheats. And I am sick and tired of paying all the tax dollars that I do only for them to send it somewhere and then money launder it back. The American government is the largest money laundering machine that you have ever seen in your life. Now Chase's mic is cut off. We've got him off camera because he's running for office. This is all old Larry here, okay? This is just Pawpaw sitting here, and I'm ranting about this, but you know for a fact it is true. We sent Donald Trump to Washington to change America and to change the world, and he can't get it done because Washington is so corrupt, so broke, and they're all a bunch of thieves. He can't get the job done.
It's our turn to help.
It's our turn to help.
It is.
That's right. Get out, vote in these local primaries and these statewide primaries, vote against the incumbent, and vote for somebody that's going to listen to we, the people. Come back next episode, and I hope that you will have a great day.